Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my final exam video. Before I tell you more about my video, let me introduce myself. My name is Mariana Zebua with student ID number 2519801. I am a Master Geografi Education from Department of Geography, Faculty of Social Science, Universitas Negeri Padang. I am a student on July and December 2025. In this occasion, I will be presenting my final exam with the title of Theoretical Foundation and Theoretical Framework in Geography Education Research Methodology. First of all, thanks to God for His love, I can finishing my final exam, and my respected to my professor Dr. Dedi Hermon MP and Dr. Bayu Wijayanto, who has teach me as long as one semester until I finishing my final exam. I hope my final exam can give the benefits for anyone who watch my video. For the last word, enjoying my video. For the first slides, I will explaining what's about the theoretical foundation and how much important in research methodology, especially in geography education research. Theoretical foundation set the scene for making significant theoretical contribution and provide the necessary framework within new research can be situated, thereby ensuring that study is anchored in established knowledge. The strength of this foundation lies in their ability to justify and support the research questions or objectives, propositions, and hypotheses and methodologies employed. Ishaq in 2017 states that a literature review, also known as a theoretical foundation or theoretical study, is a preliminary study aimed at gathering data about the research problem. According in Sukardi in Ishaq 2017, a literature review is a study whose main purpose is to find a basis foundation for obtaining and building a theoretical basis, conceptual framework, and determining tentative assumptions, often referred to as research hypotheses, so that researchers can understand, locate, organize, and then use the variety of literature in their field. Amri Amir et al. 2009 state that in principle a literature review in research article contains two elements. The first, a review of the theory used to address the problem being discussed, and second, a review of similar research conducted by others or by the article's authors. Reviewing the literature is a continuous process. It begins before a research problem is finalized and continues until the report is finished. There is a paradox in the literature review. You can't undertake an effective literature review unless you have formulated a research problem, yet your literature research plays an extremely important role in helping you to formulate your research problem. The literature review brings clarity and focus to your research problem, improves your research methodology, and broadens your knowledge base. Kumar 2011 with the page 3040. A literature review is a comprehensive summary of previous research on a topic, sourced from relevant research. It must cite, explain, summarize, objectively evaluate, and clarify previous research. To trawl through all the available information sources in order to track down the latest knowledge and assess for relevance, quality, controversy, and gaps. The last two will indicate where additional research is required to try to resolve a controversy or to fill a gap. Williman in 2011. The theoretical foundation provides the philosophical assumption, disciplinary tradition, and educational learning theories that orient a researcher's view of knowledge, or we can mention in epistemology and reality or ontology. Lady in 1997 in Andi Prastowo 2011 explains that a literature review has the following use. 1. Revealing studies similar to the one we'll conduct. In this case, it also shows how these studies address the problem and design their research methods. 2. Helps provide an overview of the methods and techniques used in research that addresses similar or identical problems to the research we are facing. 3. Reveals data source or relates bibliography titles that we may not have previously known. 4. Identifying research whose work is important to the problem we are facing, who might serve as source or whose other written works might be related. 5. Showing the position of the research we will conduct in the historical development and context of the science or theory in which this research is based. 6. It reveals ideas and approaches that we may not have previously known about. 7. It proves the authenticity of the research, that the research we are conducting is different from previous research. 8. It can increase our confidence in the topic we choose because other parties have previously been interested in the topic and have devoted their energy, time, and money to researching it. For the main objective of conducting a literature review or theoretical foundation are 1. Identifying the variables to be studied, 2. Differentiating what has been done and determining what needs to be done, 3. Synthesizing and gaining new perspectives, 4. Determining the meaning and relationships between variables, and the last, formulating hypotheses. A theoretical basis is material or discussion points that serve as a basis or reference obtained from literature searches and related to the problem being studied, serving as a guideline for resolving issues that arise during the research. Azim and Fricati in 2020. Newman in 2014 outlines at least 4 objectives of a literature review or theoretical foundations as follows. 1. To demonstrate a familiarity with a body of knowledge and establish credibility. A review tells the reader that the researcher knows their research in an area and knows the major issues. A good review increases a reader's confidence in the researcher's professional competence, ability, and background. 2. To show the path of prior research and how a current project is linked to it. A review outlines the directions of research on a question and shows the development of knowledge. A good review places a research project in a context and demonstrates its relevance by making connection to a body of knowledge. 3. To integrate and summarize what is known in area. A review pulls together and synthesizes different results. A good review points out areas in which prior studies agree, disagree, and major questions remain. It collects what is known up to a point in time and indicates the direction for future research. And the last, to learn from others and stimulates new ideas. A review tells what others have found so that a researcher can benefit from the efforts of others. A good reviewer identifies blind allies and suggests hypotheses for replication. It divulges procedures, technique, and research design worth copying so that researchers can be better focused hypothesizing and gain new insight. Criteria for rating a literature review or theoretical foundation. 1. Recency. This aspect is related to the use of source up-to-date reading. 2. Relevance. This aspect emphasizes the relevance of the reading sources to the problem being researched. The literature review must relate to the theory underlying the research and the research topic being studied. 3. Scientific weight. The source site in the literature review can be chosen at random. The literature and other sources used must be reference of scientific value and written by experts in their fields. 4. Research aspect able to accurately explain the aspect of the research being conducted, able to explain the research context, and able to develop strong and rationally interrelated argument. 5. Concise, able to write a concise and rich literature review, to improve literacy, reference materials and guidelines to facilitate subsequent research stage. Developing a theoretical foundation requires a deep understanding of the topic being researched. Here are the steps to developing a good theoretical foundation. 1. Identify relevant theories. Select theories that are directly related to the research variables. Read credible reference sources such as scientific journals and academic books. 2. Theory analyze. After finding relevant theories, understand more deeply how they can support the research hypothesis. Focus on points related to the topic. 3. Structure. Start with the most general or basic theory, then move on to more specific theories related to the research variable. Ensure the theory structure flows logically. 4. Relate to previous research. Explain how this research differs from our pulls on previous research. This will provide context and strengthen the theoretical foundation. And that's how to make a literature review or theoretical foundations. 1. Selecting relevant literature study sources. This can be done when we know our purpose in searching for literature. For example, is our goal in searching for literature related to the theories we will use, the methodology used to solve a problem, or previous research developments? 2. Using appropriate keyword or phrase. Determining the right keyword or phrase when searching for literature sources will make it easier to find relevant sources. Use keyword or phrase that are not too common. By using keyword or phrase, a variety of related sources will emerge. 3. Don't be afraid of English. When selecting sources for your literature review, it's best not to limit yourself to Indonesian languages source. Many relevant and good sources also come from English languages, textbooks, and scientific publications. 3. Use Google Scholar. Literature sources can be found on Google's dedicated scholarly portal or Google Scholar. 5. Avoid plagiarism. Use paraphrasing. When conducting a literature review, we often fall into the trap of copying and pasting. This is strictly prohibited in the reading process. 6. Don't forget to cite. Citation is the process of acknowledging and recording the literature source used. 7. Use automatic literature or reference management. Automatic literature or reference management software is widely available and free. Unlinal in 2011 stated that the following sources of literature are available. 1. Research abstracts. 2. Index. 3. Reviews. 4. Journals. 5. Reference books. And the last, Internet. And the second of our discussion today is What about the theoretical framework is our research? The theoretical framework is usually referred to as the section of a study composite of a variety of reference, concept, theories, and background information that underpin the research. When writing this section, researchers must highlight the current of thought on which their work is based, that is, the theoretical and conceptual support that they have consulted to propose and develop the research. Theoretical framework is not simply a collection of theories but represents a dynamic element of the formulation and execution of the research, integrating theoretical reflection, different concept, and essential background to the problem studied, thus providing understanding and contextualizations of the research. The theoretical framework is based on two main aspects. The first involves locating the research topic within the context of existing theories, with the aim of defining which current of thought it falls under and how it contributes something new or complementary. The second aspect involves a detailed exposition of each of the theoretical elements that will be used directly in the development of the project. Criteria to develop a good theoretical framework are 1. If there is a fully developed theory that can describe, explain, and predict the phenomenon in a logical and coherent manner, it should be used with caution, not to initiate the investigation of a problem or fact that has already been sufficiently studied under the same parameters. 2. If there are two or more theories applicable to the research problem, you can choose to select one of them, take certain parts of several theories, or even use them in their entirety to carry out a theoretical triangulation. However, it is crucial to consider that those aspects that are related to the object of study must be selected, avoiding falling into logical contradiction or inconsistencies with respect to the problem posed. In the event that the theories are mutually exclusive, one of them must be chosen or new theory must be constructed through dialectical confrontation between both. 3. When there are pieces and fragments of theory supported by empirical evidence, microtheories, many disciplines in the fields of science lack solidly founded and validated theories, relying only on empirical generalizations. These generalizations are propositions that have been tested and have yielded positive results in the majority of research carried out. In this scenario, the research can begin to build a theoretical perspective based on the results and conclusions obtained in previous studies following a logical and coherent scheme. 4. When there are guidelines not yet researched and ideas visually related to the research problem, the scientist must look for literature that, although not focused on the research problem, at least helps him orient himself within it. You can also resort to theories borrowed from other related disciplines. For example, many theoretical concepts that originate in the sociology or geography of education have been adapted from the sociological field to the field of business administration. To begin developing the theoretical framework, certain fundamental steps must be followed. A. Carry out bibliographic plans. This first step involves carrying out an exhaustive review of the available literature. B. Theoretical analysis. Once you have the theoretical information that will support the work, it is then necessary to examine and study it by reflecting on certain questions. What are the fundamental concepts developed by these theorists? What categories of research might be relevant to our study and what is the reason for their relevance? How do we anticipate that the influence of their work will be reflected in our own? C. Preparation of the text. Once the pertinent information has been collected, the theoretical framework is drafted. It is recommended to start by dumping the information into tables or diagrams to organize the data hierarchically. During writing, it is essential to maintain focus on the problem under investigation, present the information in a clear and orderly manner, and ensure that verified sources are used. So, how can we use the theoretical foundation and theoretical framework in our research, especially in education of geography? The first, we should know about the problem. What's the background of problem we research? In geography education, theory is not a luxury, it is the scaffolding that holds a study together and makes its claims intelligible to others. The theoretical foundation provides the philosophical assumption, disciplinary tradition, and educational learning theory that orient a research view of knowledge, or we can mention it as epistemology and reality or ontology. The theoretical framework translates those foundations into a coherent, study-specific model that defines key concepts, posits relationship among variables, and guide research design, data collection, and interpretation. The how of the inquiry, Grant and Onsalo 2014, Edgeberg and Sandin 2020. Example in geography education research. Research topic: the impact of inquiry-based learning on students' spatial thinking skills in high school geography. The theoretical foundation is constructivist learning theory by Piaget and Vygotsky. And the framework application: students actively construct knowledge through exploration and discussion. The framework predicts that inquiry-based tasks will enhance spatial reasoning because learning engages in problem solving and reflection. For the other sample, we can see in my slide diagram of theoretical framework. In geography education, building the bridge from broad foundation to a usable framework frequently involves connecting philosophies of learning with example social constructivism to geographical thinking competency, example spatial reasoning, place-based inquiry, and then treating those ideas through your methodology, example inquiry tasks, GIS activities, and field work. Graham Butt's treatment of the philosophy theory methodology connection in geography education research underscore how crucial this alignment is for valid, interpretable results. Building the theoretical foundation for geography education. 1. Learning theories. A. Social constructivism, Vygotsky. Knowledge is co-constructed through social interaction, dialogue, and scaffolded tasks, called collaborative mapping, group inquiry, and field-based project. B. Experiential learning, COLP. Cycles of construct experience, reflection, conceptualization, and experimentation, mirrored in fieldwork and local play studies. C. Cognitive theories, example spatial cognitions, useful for designing tasks that nurture spatial reasoning, example mental maps or scale transformation. D. Overview resources emphasize how these theories, though these things can be aligned to design effective geography learning experience. 2. Geographical thinking. Systematic reviews show that thinking geographically is the central goal of geography education, yet definitions vary across time and context. K dimensions typically include place, space, scale, environment, interconnection, and system thinking. 3. Linking disciplines and education. Part 20 and 19 argues that geography education research must consistently connect disciplinary theory with educational theory and practice, ensuring that abstract ideas are successfully translated into appropriate research practice. And that's how we can design a theoretical framework. 1. Return to your research question. Specify the phenomena and the outcome you care about. For example, how does inquiry-based learning influence high school students' spatial thinking in geography? 2. Map relevant theories and concepts from your foundation. Select the most fitting theories. Example, constructivism, spatial connection, and divine core concept, inquiry-based learning, spatial thinking, scaffolding, and feedback. 3. Specify relationships. Articulate how the concept relate. Example, constructivism relate, promote inquiry and collaboration, and relate which should enhance spatial thinking through practice and guided reflection. 4. Show methodological implication. Explain how the framework guides design. Example, inquiry tasks, GIS labs, measurement, spatial thinking rubric, and analysis, thematic coding of reflective journals or pre-post spatial reasoning test. 5. Position within a paradigm. Not your paradigm. Example, interpretivist mixed method. Justify what that stands, switch the questions and framework. Example, combining pre-post measure with qualitative reflection, capture both growth and meaning making. 6. Identify boundaries and assumptions. Acknowledge contextual limits. Example, school resource teacher experience and theoretical constraints. For example, constructivism's reliance on quality facilitations. For the last slide, I will show you the reference list and all you guys can see my reference. Just all my presentation today about my geography education research methodology with the detailed theoretical foundation and theoretical framework. And I hope my videos can give a benefit or can give a new knowledge for anyone who watch my video. And for the last word, I say thank you and see you in another video.